A few years ago, I was that kind of person, the one swiping their card left, right, and straight, convinced I had plenty of cash until I checked my bank account and saw a whole lot of nothing. Sound familiar? It hit me hard that I needed a budgeting system. And that's when I discovered cash stuffing. Groceries? Covered. Fun money? Set. Emergency fund? Finally real, not something I hoped I have one day. In this video I'll share with you how this method works, the benefits and the common mistakes to avoid so you can take the control of your spending one envelope at a time. If I could turn my chaotic finances around with this, trust me, you can too. The cash envelope system, often called cash stuffing, is a method that involves setting aside physical money for each budget category in labeled envelopes. It allows you to track exactly how much money you have left for each expense throughout the month. The cash envelope system works best for discretionary spending, expenses that aren't fixed and can vary each month, such as dining out, entertainment, or clothing. Unlike essential costs like rent or utilities, discretionary spending is more flexible, making it a primary candidate for cash stuffing. By setting a specific amount of cash in an envelope for these categories, you give yourself a clear limit. If you are prone to overspending, seeing your cash physically diminish can be a powerful reminder to stick to your budget. Once you spend what's in an envelope, you're done for the month. It helps you build discipline and avoid the temptation to dip into other funds impulsively. This approach fosters mindful spending and can lead to better financial decisions over time. And if you are run out in one envelope, you can choose to reallocate from a different category, but once all the envelopes are empty, you stop spending until next pay period. If going digital sounds like the way to go, you can still get the benefits of cash envelope system without carrying around stacks of cash. Many budgeting apps now offer digital envelopes where you can set spending limits for each category, like dining out, groceries, or entertainment. With a few taps, you can check how much money you have left in each category and get alerts before you overspend. When I first heard of cash envelope system, I thought, how's this any different from carrying cash? But then I tried it and it completely shifted how I managed my budget. Instead of aimless swiping my card, I had actual boundaries for my spending. Here is how you can get started. Before you start stuffing those envelopes, take a moment to create a solid budget. Plan for all your spending categories: daily essentials, fun splurges, debts, and for your future savings. Once I've got my budget in place, I knew exactly how much to allocate in each envelope. With your budget in hand, prepare your envelopes. Label each one with spending categories like food, fun, transportation, or get specific with groceries versus dining out. This way, every dollar has a purpose. And if you are feeling a bit cheeky, throw in an envelope called the I don't need this fund for some spontaneous purchases you'll regret the second you walk out of the store. It's a fun way to hold yourself accountable and maybe save a little cash while you're at it. At the start of the month or after each paycheck, withdraw the cash for each category and stuff your envelopes. The amounts don't need to be equal, just based on your budgeted amounts. For example, I'm setting aside $600 for groceries and I'm getting paid bi-weekly, so I'm putting $300 from each paycheck into my grocery envelope. That way you'll know exactly how much you have to spend on food all month long. Remember, the goal is to fill your envelopes with what you have planned, not what you wish you had. When you head to the store, run errands, or go out to eat, bring only the cash you need. And here is the golden rule: once the envelope is empty, you're done for that category. When I was accidentally leaving the envelope at home, I was turning back to grab it. Resist the temptation to use your card. The cash envelope system only works when you stick to it. Seeing the cash run low is a visual reminder to slow down your spending. Think of monitoring your envelopes like checking your phone for notifications, except instead of a message from your so-called boyfriend, it's a reminder to stay on budget. When I was noticing I've already blown through most of my grocery money within the first 2-3 weeks, I was just stretching that remaining cash by meal planning and hunting down deals. The goal is to make your money last until the end of the month. Because let's be real, no one wants to live off of instant noodles for the whole last week. When money in the envelope is gone, it's gone, no exceptions. If you run out of cash in your entertainment envelope but you still want to go out, it's time to get creative with free activities. Movie night at home? Anyone? The key here is to resist the temptation to dip into other envelopes, or you'll risk blowing your budget elsewhere. Stick to your limits and you'll build better habits that keep you on track with your financial goals. When a new month begins, rinse and repeat. This time I was adjusting envelope amounts as needed. I had extra in utilities but wanted a bit more in savings. Make those changes so your budget better reflects your lifestyle. Any money left in the envelope by the end of the month, roll it over into savings, build an emergency fund, or treat yourself, but not too crazy. The cash envelope system is all about discipline and accountability. By physically separating your cash in envelopes, you can see exactly where your cash is going and when it's running low. Cash stuffing isn't just for one type of person, it can work for anyone who needs a little extra accountability with their finances. If you've struggled to stick to a digital budget or find it hard to track your spending, carrying physical cash in hand can be a game changer. When I could literally see how much cash I have left in each envelope, it was easier for me to stay mindful of my spending habits throughout the month. This method is especially helpful for those who struggled with budgeting in the past. The principle of giving every dollar a job is key here. When you use cash envelopes, you quickly realize that every dollar you spend is one less dollar available for your bigger goals like paying rent or saving for a rainy day. It's a powerful visual reminder that every choice has a consequence, helping you stay more disciplined with your money. The cash envelope system offers several key advantages that can help you stay on track with your budget and improve your financial habits. By limiting yourself to the cash in your envelopes, it's much harder to overspend. You'll have a clear visual of how much you've allotted for each category, making it easier to stick to a plan. Once you set your spending categories and allocate cash at the start of the month, you are more likely to follow through. It's a simple but effective way to develop better financial habits. Leftover cash can be redirected into savings or other financial goals. When you use physical cash, there is no risk of overdraft fees or bank charges. Even with digital envelopes, the system helps you stay mindful with your spending and avoid unnecessary fees. Tracking your spending visually forces you to assess your financial habits, making it easier to spot the areas for improvement. Before you start cash stuffing, you'll need to create a budget. For some, this method serves as a gateway to a more consistent budgeting routine, helping them manage their money better in the long run. Paying with cash instead of credit cards helps prevent accumulating debt. The cash envelope system removes the temptation to use cards, reducing the risk of racking up credit card debt or overdrawing your bank account. While the cash envelope system has its benefits, it also comes with several drawbacks that may make it less ideal for some people. To use cash envelope method, you need to physically withdraw money from the bank, which can be inconvenient. If you are using digital envelopes, you'll still need to spend time transferring or allocating funds to different accounts. Many bills are paid digitally, such as rent or student loans, and cash stuffing doesn't accommodate this. To manage, you could track these payments manually or transfer equivalent amounts to your bank account after using the cash. Carrying cash increases the risk of losing it or having it stolen with a little resource to recover it. This makes it less secure method for some people, especially if you are carrying large amounts. By keeping cash in envelopes, you miss out on potential interest from savings accounts or rewards from credit cards. You could create a savings envelope and transfer the equivalent amount into an interest-bearing account to get around this. The cash envelope system requires manual effort and time, like visiting the bank, withdrawing your cash, and physically tracking your expenses. This can be especially inconvenient if you're used to the convenience of digital transactions. Having physical cash around can lead some people to overspend. Without the automatic boundaries that digital payments or cards provide, it's easy to be tempted to dip into an envelope more than you intended. Unlike digital budgeting tools, the cash system doesn't offer alerts when you are nearing your spending spending limits. You need to rely on manual checks, which could lead to overspending if you don't keep careful track. If you are not disciplined or make budgeting errors, the cash envelope system may not be as effective. It can be tough to stick to, and if you spend more than allotted, you risk throwing off your entire plan. While the cash envelope system can be a great way to keep your spending in check, it's not without its challenges. From the hustle of withdrawing cash and setting up envelopes to the risk of theft and the lack of real-time spending alerts, there are definitely some bumps in the road. It works well for those who want a more tangible way to budget. But if you prefer the convenience of digital payments, or if your lifestyle relies heavily on online bills and purchases, the system can feel restrictive. It's important to weigh these disadvantages against the benefits and determine whether the cash envelope system aligns with your financial goals and habits. If you're okay with the time commitment and the potential for little inconvenience, the cash envelope system may be a great tool for building financial discipline. But if you're looking for something more flexible and automated, you might want to explore other budgeting options. Now let's talk about a few common mistakes people make when they first start. First up, don't skip categories. What about the monthly coffee habit or that emergency dinner with your friends? Be sure to break down your budget into every little category, no matter how small. Okay, this sounds weird, but bear with me. It's tempting to load up the envelopes with more cash when you really need, but this defeats the purpose. If you overstuff your envelopes, you're more likely to get lazy with your spending. I know the temptation, but listen, don't dip into other envelopes. If your grocery envelope is gone, get creative with what you've got in your pantry. The point is, once the money is gone from one envelope, it's gone, period. Cash stuffing isn't just about filling up your envelopes and walking away. You need to check in regularly. If you are spending a little too much on fun and running low on groceries, it's time to re-evaluate. Adjust your envelopes as needed, but be sure to check in on your spending habits. If you're not paying attention, you'll end up back at square one. Remember, budgeting is all about finding what works best for you. So whether it's cash stuffing, digital budgeting, or a combination of both, the important thing is to start, stay consistent, and adjust as you go. Now let me know in the comments below if you've tried cash envelope system or planning to give it a shot. And if you are interested in other budgeting methods, I'll leave the link down below to the videos where we talk about 50-30-1 rule and zero-based budgeting method. They will help you identify the best budgeting method for you. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with more financial tips.